Hello everybody, how are you all doing today? This is Dorothy and this is Dorothy's blog. This is where I come to tell my story every day, every week or every other week. So today I'm here because I just felt like I needed to come out and thank all of you. I want to say thank you. Thank you all for the outpour of love. Thank you for all the comments. Thank you for everything. I am truly overwhelmed and I'm not taking it for granted. So from the bottom of my heart, I say thank you. So I'm here this morning because I want to answer questions. I've finished telling my story, but I'm going to be answering questions from now on. So whenever I see a question that is like a common question from a lot of people, I'll make a video. So the question I'm answering today is about my ex-husband. A lot of questions, a lot of people have asked me, where is he? Why is he not involved? What is his contribution and things like that? And I'm going to tell you here today. So when he left, when his family took him away, and I was dealing with all these things, I called him at the point, I started calling his family when I discovered their adoption was over. I called them when I was pregnant, when I was going to the hospital, but they didn't answer me. So I felt like if I should call them now that the child is taken away, they will fight for their sister, their niece. But when I called them, they told me they have nothing to do with me, that the marriage is over, so I should deal with it. And right after that, they all blocked me. So I was in this battle alone because my husband himself has, blocked my number. He doesn't pick my calls anymore. So he started calling me 2 years later. He just called me from nowhere one day and was like, I want to come to Maryland and see you. I said, is this the right thing for you to do now? I said, I've been calling you. He said, yes, I heard your last message. You said that they took the child from you, so I want to come so we can talk about it. So I obliged him. He came. He came. He was at. He told me he will come through New Carrollton because he came with the train. I went there to pick him up. I took him to the house and to the place I was renting. Then he saw my twins and he was like, whose children are these? I said, they are mine. So he didn't even ask any questions about who their father was or anything. I said, let's just talk about what brought you here and then let's just deal with it. So we started talking. He asked me all the questions he needed to ask, to know the people and everything. And I told him everything. I gave him all the information that he needed. I said, you did not sign child support. You did not sign for adoption. So you have the right to pick that child up. I said, so please work on it. And we were still talking until I looked at the time. It was almost 7 p.m. I said, what is this man doing? So I told him, okay, can you start going? Because I want to start getting ready to put my children to sleep. He said, no, he's spending the night here. I said, no, not in my house. So he was still reluctant. I said, I'm going to sleep here. So, okay. I went inside and I picked my phone and I called a cab for him, a taxi. Then we used taxi. I called the taxi company. I paid. I made the payment. And I came back to the living room and I told him, be ready. You need to go. He thought I was joking. So when the taxi came, they called me. So I called him. I told him, your taxi is outside. You have to go. And he was so upset. He became so furious. This man has a lot of, how would I put it? He felt like he was entitled to me. I told him to go. So he left. And that made him upset. And he didn't talk to me for a long time. After a while, he called again. Then I was in Kansas already. But because I didn't change my number, he called again. And I told him I'm no longer in Maryland. I'm now in Kansas. So what have you been able to achieve on the case of our daughter? He said, well, I'm still trying to get in touch with the people. My lawyer is still trying to get in touch with them. Can you give me your address of where you are in Kansas? I want to visit. And I said, no, hell no, you are not coming to my house again. Whatever we're going to talk, let's talk about it here. So he started begging that he's sorry for what happened. He has really learned his lessons, that he just wants us to come back. He has tried that the marriage he found himself in is not what it was not like ours. So he regrets everything and is really sorry that he has gotten himself together, that he should just forgive him. I said, well, I'm forgiving you. That's why I'm talking with you. I said, but me and you living together again can never happen. So this argument went on for some weeks. And then suddenly one evening, I got a call. And I picked it. It was a lady. And she said, are you Dorothy? I said, yes. She said, oh, okay. I'm so and so person's husband. A wife, I mean. I said, excuse you, madam. I said, no, you don't say that. I am his wife. The fact that I've not done anything doesn't mean that I don't know what to do. I said, but I'm his wife. He said, yes. Sister, I've not called you to fight with you. I just called you because I just discovered something. And I want to find out the truth from you. And I said, okay, what is it? She said, did you say you and this person married from Nigeria? I said, yes. And this woman was upset. She said, you know, I never knew. She was swearing, if I ever knew, God should punish me. I didn't know this man came with a woman. I never knew he came here with a woman. I don't know. He came with a woman. So I said, well, that's what happened. I said, so what do you want now? She said, you know what? Something happened few days ago. And that was how I found out about you. I said, okay, what? She said that ever since she married my husband, her in-laws have been using her like a second bank account. They were always calling her to ask for money, beg for money, borrow money that they would never pay back and things like that. That it got to a point that she told them that she was no longer going to give them anything. As a matter of fact, she said she cut them off because they would always come to their house unannounced. So she cut them off, and my ex-sister-in-law told her, we're going to deal with you the way we dealt with Dorothy. She said that was where she heard my name. And that she went further to search her husband's phone and she saw my name. She said, so this person actually married a woman and brought a woman that came with him to America, and he still came to me? I said, well, that's what it is. She was so upset. She said, don't worry, I'm going to fight for you. I said, don't worry, God will fight for me. Okay, she said, I'm going to call you back maybe in a few hours. Because I told her, I said, I'm not sure you're talking about the same person. She said, no. I said, are you sure you're living with him together? Because he told me that you people are no longer living together. She said, no, we're still living together. He said, but you know, with this story that I've just heard, I'm just going to let him babysit my children, because she said she had 2 children for him already. I'm going to let him, and they're twins. I'm going to let him babysit the children until I finish my classes. That she's in school for some program, but she's going to let him babysit, and after she's done with her graduation, she's going to, kick him out of the house. I said, well, whatever you do, I'm not sending you on any errand. So we laughed over it. She said, well, I'm going to call him when he comes back so that you know I'm telling the truth. So true to her word, she called me back a few hours later, and she put the phone on speaker, and she was like, oh, hello, sweetheart. And the man was on hello. And that was my husband's voice. And they talked for like a minute or so, and she cut off the phone. Some hours later, she called me back and said, am I right now? I said, yes, that's his voice. That's him. See, that's him. That's him. Because she purposely called him his name when he greeted her. So, and the voice too was his. So I said, that's his name. That's him. That's him. And she was so disappointed. She said, I never knew. She said, my sister, please forgive me. Please forgive me. And I'm sure this video will go viral, and I will know the woman will hear me. So I said, okay, no problem. And before I knew it, the man kept calling back, and I confronted him. I said, you are still living in the house with your wife, and you have the gut to be calling me that you want us to reconcile. I said, what's your problem? He said, no, I'm going to divorce her. It's okay. Don't call me again, please. Let's just talk about our child, and then that's it. But of course, this man was not taking the issue of my daughter serious. He was more interested in getting me back. And it got to a point, he called me and said the wife already left him or something like that. I said, well, that's okay, but let's do something about this child. Then my child was not even 10 years old yet. So you can see from when I started talking to him about getting this child out. He kept playing this game of always calling to lament, complain about his wife, cry on the phone. I was like, this man is a drama king. I just put him on the side. I was almost tempted to, block him. But I decided to keep the line open for him because of my daughter. So this went on for a long time. And in 2018, I called him. I said, what are you doing? This girl is almost 20 years old. What are you doing? He said, oh, he's going to get into it. I should not worry. So he kept pushing me back and forth, back and forth, back and forth until 2023. I heard about the sexual molestation and I called him again. I said, this is the right time for you to pick this child out. You did not sign anything, for heaven's sake, so pick this child out. That was when he made an attempt of contacting them. And when he contacted them, the man and his wife told him, actually they asked him to meet them somewhere. He traveled down to Maryland, so they met somewhere. And he told the man that he wanted me to be in the meeting. And they said, over their dead body, I will not be in the meeting with them. So he went there alone, and they told him that the wife told him that the girl that he's fighting for is her husband's daughter. She said her husband got me pregnant, and when he got me pregnant, he found out I was married, so he left me. And when the baby was born and my husband was gone, that the husband now decided to take the child. As a matter of fact, they told him it was not an adoption, that they took the child from me because that's her husband's child. And she said, few months after, I seduced her husband and got pregnant for the twins. So this man's head got off. He was like, what? He called me, cursing me. Oh, I thought you were a virtuous woman. I could vouch for you that you were a virtuous woman. What did you do? Why did you take that? Why were you trying to take that woman's husband? And I was like, what are you talking about? He told me everything they said. I couldn't believe it because I didn't know that people can go so far to lie. So that's why he cut himself off. He said, well, I don't want to fight for that child again because that child is not even my child. But I'll still want you back in my life. I said, you can't get me. If you want to get that child, get our child back, get her back. Even if you want to keep her with you, I am better off that she's with you than she's with them. I said, even if you want to send her to Nigeria, to your mother, or to anybody, I'll be happy. I said, but please, let's get her out. He said, no, I'm not going to fight over another man's child. They said it's not my child. I said, can you demand for DNA? He said, so I should waste money and do DNA. We went through this for a long time, and when I noticed that he was not serious about getting the child back, instead he became close friends with these people. So he will invite them to where he is, and they will invite him to where they are, and they'll go for party. And I didn't even know until someone told me. Someone who knew him told me. And I confronted him. He said, no, I'm just doing all that to get close to them so I'll get information. I said, but you said that child is not your child. So what information are you getting again? He said, no, he said all the things he said to me was in anger. That actually he's trying to get close to them. You know, too many lies told by him, by his family and everything. I didn't believe him anymore. So when he kept pressurizing me about marrying him, I told him, even if you don't have the type of family that you have, I would have come back to you. He said, but with that type of family, I will never have anything to do with you. So that's how the whole thing slowed down, and we didn't really talk much. He will call and still ask for me to come back to his life, because actually he's gone through 3 marriages since he left me. 3 marriages. And I'm sure he had children from those women. And I'm sure he's paying child support. So I think he's just trying to escape to come to me so I will bear all the burdens while he's used his money to pay child support. I think that was what he was trying to do. But you know, once beaten, twice shy. You beat me once, shame on you. But you beat me or you fool me twice, shame on me. So I never gave him that chance. So until when I heard my daughter was taken to Nigeria, I called him again. I said, they've taken this girl to Nigeria. What are you going to do? She said, I will go to Nigeria. I'm going to Nigeria in a couple of weeks. I'll try to use an investigator to find out where they are. And that's where we left it at. He came back, called me, he's back. I said, were you able to locate them? He said, no, I just pushed it aside. And of course, I kept talking online. It was during that my talking that I heard that my daughter saw my videos. And that was when the fight started with her and her adoptive parents. So, and that's why they went to Nigeria anyway. So once he didn't do anything, I just kept quiet and I kept praying. I said, God, just do it. Just let him come back. I just want him to come. I just want her to come back. And that was the prayer I was praying until they broke the news of her passing to me. I called him back. I think he was the third person I called that day. I mean, my ex-husband. I said, have you heard anything? He said, no. I said, you mean your friends have not told you anything? He said, no, they cut him off. I said, oh, welcome to the club. So they did. He said, yeah, they cut him off. They just blocked him last year. So he doesn't have any communication with them anymore. I said, okay, this is what happened. And he was shouting and crying. And I said, but why are you crying? That baby you said is not yours. So why are you crying? Why are you talking? So that was our last conversation till date. After that day, I blocked him. Because, I mean, what will I be discussing with him? My child that was supposed to make us talk is gone. So this is my answer to that question of where is your husband? What did he do? What is he doing? He never did anything. And I don't think he will do anything. I don't think he will. So I'm going to end this video here. Anytime I see questions that are relevant and from a lot of people, I'll make a video to answer you. Thank you so much for all your outpour of love and concern. I just want my daughter to get justice. I want this video to go everywhere until it gets to where or to who can help me. When this video gets to who can help me, then I'll relax.